Business items. Item number 12, accept grant funding and expenditure recommendations for the California Citizens Option for Public Safety COPS grant of $100,000. This will end up in a public hearing presentation by our Police Chief, Rob Landon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. The subject is exactly what the Mayor just said, to accept grant funding and expenditure recommendations for the California Citizens Option for Public Safety, which is a COPS grant. It comes about once a year depending on state funding. And this year, our dollar amount, I believe, is just announced at $107,000. So our recommendation is to conduct the public hearing and after consideration, adopt the resolution, authorize the finance director to make a supplemental budget appropriation as necessary. And it's a fiscal impact is $100,000 with no matching fund. And I apologize for not having a PowerPoint. Each year, dependent upon state budget priorities, funds may be allocated to law enforcement agencies to assist in carrying out priorities as established by the Chief of Police or the Sheriff in unincorporated areas or contract cities. Over the last several years, monies have been made available through the state of California to local law enforcement entities in the forms of the COPS grant. This year, we have approximately $107,000. The police department has traditionally utilized funding obtained in this grant for major approval expenditure category of technology advancement, critical patrol safety equipment, and infrastructure improvements for the benefit of frontline law enforcement delivery to the citizens of our community. Funding directions are based upon needs assessments from the department's management group in consultation with the rank and file employees and input from the city's IT staff and our research and development unit, which is one person. Prior years' expenditures have been for such items as radio upgrades, emergency operations center retrofits for the police department, total service weapons upgrade for all officers, and that's been about 20 years for that. Equipping all patrol vehicles with mobile data terminals integrated with the police communications center, and then required upgrades in the fire police computer-aided dispatch system. So we would suggest a continuation along this path of technology evaluation and implementation. I wrote this and I put that word in there, along with some much needed patrol staffing equipment upgrades, which has served us very well over the last 20 years. The department recommends making the following purchases. And just so you understand, the way that we do the COPS process at the police department is we go to every single unit and we ask them to make recommendations for what they feel that we should have in the next upcoming budget. And then based on that, we have a couple of meetings, and they present the list at the end of the day as close to $100,000 as possible. So for this year, patrol-related, and they all have to be frontline law enforcement needs. You can't have it to supplant prior expenditures or future budget items. So patrol-related items, we're asking for 30 Glock 17 pistols, which will replace the remaining 40 caliber pistols. We're trying to get everybody, again, to shoot the same type of weapon. It's easier for training. It's easier during emergencies. 9mm are now a more popular weapon. More FBI data has been accumulated, and they feel like based on that, it's a cheaper ammunition to shoot, and it's as effective as the 40 caliber as well without penetrating through outer walls and stuff. So there's been a lot of research, and we agree with the research, and we would like to do that at a cost of $15,000. By doing that, we're replacing the old 40 calibers, and we will put those out to sell at the place where we buy the 9mm as we have in the past, but there's not a lot of return on those because they are a couple generations old. We'd also like to get go bags for each patrol vehicle equipped with basic medical supplies and additional weapon magazines in the event of a mass critical event. We've seen that in the past where the need has arisen. We've actually experienced that at the police department where an officer was shot, and having the go bag there to stop the bleeding and put a tourniquet on them potentially and probably saved their life. 2 mini drones and training for 2 additional personnel. Drones have been utilized on patrol to help apprehend fleeing suspects safely and can be used during search and rescue operations, and that's at a cost of $3,000. I really highly recommend the drones. I am not intimately familiar with those, but this past week we had a SWAT call out that ended up with a canine apprehension where the suspect was hiding in the backyard with multiple trailers, chicken coops, dog kennels, and all kinds of stuff back there that created a very dangerous environment to send our officers into. By placing the drone up in the air, we were able to figure out where the suspect, narrow them down to certain locations. So it's very impactful, and we have used those on multiple calls. We actually had to use the Yuba County Sheriff's Department on that one, and I think they are very, very effective. Redmond instructor suit, and 2 student Redmond suits. So for those, and that's at a cost of $6,500. A Redmond suit allows the officers to practice using force on a live person, but have that person suited up in a very padded uniform type equipment. So it's a lot. It teaches you how to do it in a practical environment, because obviously just hitting a dummy or hitting a pole or something like that isn't as effective as actually seeing a person when they're moving and avoiding the areas that they don't want to hit and making sure they're hitting the areas that they're supposed to be hitting. So that's something that we are in dire need of. Our old one, unfortunately, they do take a beating, and we're running out of duct tape. Technology. Oh, the other thing for patrol is license plate readers. Now, we've asked for these in the past, and because of the ongoing costs, we haven't been able to fully be able to utilize those. This year, we've seen what Sutter County is doing with theirs, and 3 license plate readers in 1 year of service would allow the department to strategically place cameras in high traffic areas to assist in locating vehicles that are stolen or wanted in connection with serious felony crimes. That's at a cost of $25,000. And I think based on our area's level of stolen vehicles, this is one equipment or tool that we can put in our bag to help us effectively combat that, because it'll automatically search through thousands and thousands of things that an officer couldn't possibly do. Technology, we'd like to buy a new throw phone system for the hostage negotiations team to utilize during critical events. So what a hostage throw phone is basically, a lot of times people cell phones die. So in a critical event like a SWAT call out, they're inside of a house. We have no way of communicating them absent a bullhorn. So we're not getting that effective communication with the person. We can place the throw phone inside the house or close enough for the suspect to pull it out and be able to negotiate with them. What this does, without giving away too much of the technology and the uses that we will have with it, it has video cameras, and it allows us to capture the event as it's happening real time. So that's at a cost of $28,000. We do have one of those. It does not have the same capability, and with all the liability and in our current environment, we would like to have something like that to record, document, and also to be a helpful tool for the officers. Specifically for SWAT, we're asking for 2 sets of night vision optics and accompanying laser optics. This enhances the ability for the officers to operate in no or low light situations, and 2 sets of binoculars for SWAT sniper team. The current being utilized out of date and in need of replacement at a cost of $1,500. And sniper is not the same as a military type term. We use a lot of that for scouting and advanced scouting and placing them in a position of advantage from a far location. So the better optics they have, the more effective they can communicate back to the officers that are up close and personal. And finally, the last item we're looking for is purchase of 5 iPhones and hard mount cases for traffic officers. These will be mounted to the motorcycle and give traffic officers the ability to see the computer-aided dispatch call screen. This will also give them use of a phone to mark body camera videos in the field, saving them time from going through videos at the end of the shift. And it also helps for the racial profiling identification that we're going to have to start using at the beginning of this year, so the officer doesn't have to go to a set location for 15 minutes, input all the data. It allows them to do it on scene. The computer-aided dispatch is very important for traffic. It's a big disadvantage of being a motor unit is you don't have a computer to see where everybody's at while you're out in the field. This allows them that ability. We'll also to be able to check driver's license and license plates without consistently talking to dispatch and tying up the radios. So that total comes out to about $98,700, and any remaining money can be used as a contingency, since these are approximate numbers and not based on competitive bids at this time. The fiscal impact is $100,000. The alternative is to provide staff with alternative spending paths which will not supplant routine expenditures in the general fund. And with that, the recommendations are to conduct a public hearing, and after consideration, adopt a resolution authorizing the Chief of Police to accept the fiscal year 2020-2021 California Citizen Options for Public Safety Grant and approve expenditures, and authorize the Chief Financial Officer to make budget adjustments as necessary. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions you may have, Mayor or Council.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief Landon? Seeing none, go ahead and open a public hearing. Public hearing on California Citizens Option for Public Safety Grant Funding and Expenditure Recommendations in the amount of $100,000 is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on this issue, please provide your statement via public comment and state your name and address for the record. Do we have any comments from the public on this item? Seeing none in the audience, we'll wait a second here.
No public comment.
Okay. I do have a quick question. Since you said the new amount is 107, should we amend this for the 107 instead of the 100 so that he has authorization to spend the 107,000?
You have authority to discuss and take action on that tonight, but Chief, was it 107 or 98,700?
So 98.7 is the dollar amount that we came up with. In looking through, because it does tend to change sometimes, I looked at it today and the dollar amount was 107,000. It's built on a percentage. So the actual cops for the city of Yuba City is 100,000. 107, I'm sorry.
So City Council, if you need to amend it to be 107,000, that's within the action item tonight. We would just adopt the resolutions and just change that number to 107,000, and this Mrs. Wakefield and I can work and make that on the back end, clean it up on the back end.
Okay. So no more public comment. Just check it one more time, Sarah, in case something came in on the email.
No public comment.
All right, so we'll go ahead and close public hearing, bring the matter back to the council for comments or a motion.
A comment, if I may.
Please.
Just a comment. Good, very good job. I'm kind of jealous. All those toys you get, me able to get that into $100,000. All that good stuff it's going to be good and keep our people much safer. So good job on that.
Thank you, Councilman.
I'll be looking forward to it too. If I should.
We will gladly invite you guys if you want to come to a defensive tactics day. We're always looking for volunteers.
She looks good in red.
Through the mayor, I have a.
Go ahead, please.
Can we? Actually, that might not be a bad idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, Councilman, are you in for the?
I'm in to watch. I think it's a plastic.
The idea of doing. I was just interested in the technology that you mentioned for the license. What is the license? What is that? The
license plate reader.
Yeah.
The automated license plate reader.
So.
Oh, you're getting into technology.
I just like technology. I really enjoy that. So
Is that car mounted or a fixed?
A fixed location.
Fixed one?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are we disclosing the fixed locations?
No, but they will be high traffic areas. And unless you're driving a stolen car or something in a felony, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, okay. Just wondering. Because I do hear a lot of fast cars drive, man. It's like crazy sometimes. But so the actual camera takes the pictures of thousands and thousands of license and then identifies stolen potential ones, and is that kind of in a summary of the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice. Very good. All right. Thank you.
Through the mayor.
Go ahead.
Chief, you mentioned we had to use Yuba County's drone. Is that because?
Well, it was a strategic call that theirs was more available at the time. They had an operator ready, and he just happened to be part of the their SWAT team. We have a combined multi-jurisdictional SWAT team with Yuba County. So he was just there, and he had his encased, and it was ready to go.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, through the mayor. Chief, love all the ideas. Anything to help keep our officers safe, let them do their job better, and keep our citizens, I'm all behind. So thank you for that. The only question I would have is if they dress in red, can we go back to the Old West and you swear me in for the day?
We'll work on that, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
I don't need to add anything other than I think this is a great opportunity for us to continue to provide our officers with things that are going to make them and the public more safe. So I appreciate the work of you and your staff in pursuing this and being successful. I know it's not competitive, but you still have to do the work. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Council.
Through the mayor.
Please.
I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the Chief of Police to accept the fiscal year 2020-2021 California Citizens Option for Public Safety COPS funding and approve expenditure recommendations with the amendment that the grant is $107,000, and then likewise authorize the finance director to make a supplemental budget appropriation for the grant expenditures to 100-43117 and grant expenditures to 2180-69201.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by the Vice Mayor and a second by Councilmember Shaw. Roll call vote, please.
It's okay.
The second was Harris, correct?
Harris.
What did I say? Shaw?
So it could be one of the.
Okay.
John? Shaw? What, yeah, whatever.
Vice Mayor Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Espandola,
I think I need to go back to virtual land. Yes.
Councilmember Kirchner,
Yes.
Mayor Boomgarden.
Yes. Matt,
If I may, before you continue.
please.
Brian, I got a text from a constituent saying the Zoom link is a problem. I don't know what else to, I just put it in on you. You're good? Okay. I just wanted to pass that on. It's somebody's not having them. It could be operator error, but as long as we, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Council.
All right.